Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Good morning. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls. That was my dad's job. He was a preacher. I'm here to save businesses. I'm here to save jobs. I'm here to save our community. Now, if I save a soul along the way, hey, icing on the cake. Got an exciting show today. I'm Robert Gatewood. I am your host. I am a business developer by trade. I help folks in the business space. You're trying to start a business, trying to make that business better, trying to make that money, trying to tired of people telling you what to do. You're ready to start on your own. You're ready to make a difference in our community, leave a legacy behind, be the envy of your peers. Then you start a successful business. Now, the operative word is successful. Anybody can start a business. There's probably too many businesses out here because most of them are going to fail. And I'm telling you, the reason for failing is it breaks my heart, really breaks my heart, because it's a preventable error. If you just get the information you need, follow some basic steps, you can succeed in business. I'm not saying everybody can, but when you think about it, probably everybody can when you understand there are different types of businesses. There are turnkey businesses, there's building from the ground up, there's scale it and sell it, there's side hustles. So yeah, practically everybody can start a business. But the key, again, is to make it successful. That's why I'm here. Daggone it. You have a resource right here, somebody who's done it time and time again, not just for me, but for my clients. I have a business called Gatewood Marketing, and our purpose, our mission, our raison d'etre, our reason for being is to make businesses successful. I also teach this at the college. Been doing that for 25 years. Read a couple of books on the topic. I work in the federal government space, helping small businesses in the 8A program. So I'm not saying I know it all. You don't even have to get the information from me, but don't go out here and fail when you don't have to. It's not a good thing to go out here and fail at business. I mean, you look like a failure. Now you go hiding from folks that got giving you all their personal information. Now they wonder what you're going to do with it. No, if you're going to do it right. All right, didn't mean to start out preaching, but this is the marketing pulpit, okay? What you do when you get behind the pulpit? You preach. All right, let's get going. What are we going to talk about today? This is June, and we're going to talk about some observances. Of course, it's Professional Wellness Month, and it's Men's Health Month. I've been harping on that, and I'm not going to let up. Men and everyone, take care of your health. So we have a month dedicated to that. It's also National Insurance Day. June 28th is National Insurance Day. Get that insurance. Make sure you leave something behind. Don't have folks having to collect, have a collection plate at your funeral because you didn't take care of business. It's not called for. We're going to talk about later in the show. We're going to talk about living small but thinking big. Marinate on that for a minute. Living small but thinking big. Thinking big. Living small. And I'm going to ask you this question. Maybe not you personally, but rhetorically speaking. Who are you trying to impress with some of this extravagance that we see in our community? Particularly if you are a business owner. Let me tell you something. When you start a business, your mindset has to change. I remember when I started my first company. I had a big old, I had a Volvo and a Mercedes. And so I knew I had to make some type of life adjustments. I got rid of both of those darn things because I was starting a home delivery restaurant business. We were one of the first. I was one of the first in the country. We were delivering restaurant meals from restaurants. So I went and bought 2 delivery vehicles, traded in my Mercedes and my Volvo, and got me I think it was like a Ford Escort and a Aspire, some little rinky-dink cars. But anyway, that was a really, really life-changing life shift. So, and I'm going to do a sermon on that later in the show. We're going to talk about what it means to think big but live small, particularly if you are a business owner. I started the show by saying most of the businesses that are started, they don't succeed. And part of that reason is that there needs to be a mind shift that's not taking place. We're going to talk about that coming up later in the show. I want to say good morning to Brother Brown, the greatest plumber in town. Thanks for tuning in. Also, if you haven't joined the business directory already, go to mpi.bz and you'll see the directory. You can join it free, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. Let people know that you're out there, because I can't remember everybody's phone number and email address and website. They say, Robert, why you don't recommend? I can't remember that. Somebody called me the other day, a good old attorney. I said, go to the directory. I got a lot of good attorneys right there at mpi.bz. Get your name in there. Let me send you some business. Let's make this money. Also, the first Friday is coming up this month, next month on July 12th over at BLE Executive Suites. I'll be there emceeing. Miss Bernadette Clay will be there moderating. She is a business guru. She has her BLE Executive Suites locations, business services, phone services, mailbox services, training rooms, 3 locations, 1 in Largo, 1 in College Park, and 1 in National Harbor. And she'll be there this first Friday talking about the law of attraction. I'll be there emceeing, as we've done for this past year. Go to marketingpulpit.com. We have a banner on the right side. You can register, or go to blesuites.com/events, or go to their homepage. You'll see it up on the navigation bar. Let's see what else is going on. Let's talk about a couple of items in the news. We try to keep you abreast of what's going on, and there's a lot going on always. We do not live in a vacuum. Particularly if you're a business owner, things be happening that affect us. You can't stick your head in the sand and just concentrate on making only money. You'll make the money now. But some of the things the news can affect and impact your ability or lack thereof to make this cheddar we're talking about. So let's talk about some news. Well, we had the first presidential debate of the season. Man, where do I start? Let's just say it was quite remarkable, interesting. But I have to ask this question. In this country, there are 340 million people. That's a lot of people. Not 340,000, not 3 million, 340 million people. And the people we saw on the stage last night, that's the best this country has to offer. If you need no other reason to say that the political system is broken, we had Exhibit A on display last night. We had one guy who couldn't tell the truth, another guy who couldn't tell whether he was coming or going. Is this where we are? One guy is running in slow motion, the other is running from his past. It was kind of tough to watch. Is this where we are as a country? We have 340 million people. Many of you under the sound of my voice would be better qualified as president than who we had on the stage last night. I'm not saying one is better than the other or worse than the other, even though it is. I'm just not saying it. I'm just saying we can put some better candidates out here. Now, we'll see what happens after this train wreck of a debate has been fully digested and people with more power than me can decide where we go for moving forward. But this was not good. This was not a good start. This was not a good start. All right, let's talk about some other things in the news. Well, let's see. A principal, I love schools. I love teachers. I just love the whole education system. I think they're underpaid, undervalued, marginalized. But, man, I tell you, some of these news stories lately almost making me rethink that decision. I know there's some school teachers under my voice. This is not after you. But a school principal placed a $2,500 hit. A school principal placed a $2,500 hit on a school teacher in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms for orchestrating a murder for hire that led to the death of a teacher and their unborn child. There's some serious hanky-panky going on in that school. My goodness. I mean, the fact that he had a child with her is already bad enough. But then to put a hit on her. Come on, folks. We can do better. We can do better. And I'm sure that's no indictment on the millions of great principals and school teachers out there. It's just that every now and then we got a rogue in every category, in every profession. I'll tell you what else you have to do too. You have to be careful about these dating apps. An Iowa woman has been arrested for calling 911 to avoid going on a date with a man she met on a dating app. So she set up the date. I guess the guy had come to the door and she decided, I don't want to date the guy. I don't know if she peeked through the peephole or whatever. So she called the police and said, there's a guy outside my door who's trying to beat me up. He's going to stab me, and had the police to come in, accost the guy because she didn't want to go on the date. She had cold feet. That is so wrong. And if that's not bad enough, a woman arranged a fake date with a man, had another man in the car that jumped out the trunk and stabbed the victim 19 times. Now, the way it worked, they drove off where the guy was supposed to be handcuffed and blind cuffed as part of the date. That's already off to a bad start. And the victim said, well, my handcuffs are too tight. So she pulls over, and that's when the guy in the back seat jumped out, in the back of the trunk jumped out, dragged the guy out of the trunk, stabbed him 19 times. Luckily, he was able to escape, call the police, and of course, the 2 people were arrested. I'm just going to say this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not against you going on online dates. And we do have a comment in the chat that says this is not a reflection on teachers who are there to do what they're there to do. I agree. Patricia, I agree. I love teachers. Some of the greatest people in the world. But we got some bad apples out there too. And if you have that kind of mindset, don't even go into the profession. I'm a teacher myself. I'm teaching a course this summer in digital marketing. Then I go into the fall and I'm going to be teaching this course over and over again, along with other courses like marketing and networking and social media. So I am a teacher myself. But boy, let me tell you, those bad apples get in it. They can, like in any profession, they can impugn the entire profession if you're not careful. Let me get back to this online dating. If you must do it, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, let me give you some quick tips. Take your time and get to know the person before you go out here and start meeting, letting them come to your house and pick you up. Definitely not coming to your house right away. And it's probably not a good idea to let them handcuff you and blindfold you as part of some kind of weird date. Nope, that's a no-no. Don't give up too much of your personal information right away. You might just be on a first name basis off the bat, okay? All this, here's my name, my social security number, this is where I work, here's my kids. Don't do that. Meet in a public place, let somebody know where you're going. Stay sober. Don't drink. A lot of these dates and date rape and sex trafficking starts when somebody puts something in your drink. Just don't drink. Or get your own drink. Don't do it. Drive yourself. Don't have people come picking you up. Meet them there. And keep your phone charged and ready to call the police or somebody if things get out of hand. Just a couple of quick tips, because we keep repeating this story over and over again. Somebody's done going on a date. Next thing you know, they're getting chopped up somewhere, and a preventable error. What we call unforced error. Let's see what else is in the news. Adobe has been accused of making it too difficult to cancel their subscriptions. Now, I'm going to have to go along with this one. Adobe, you got me too. This is what happened. So I had a client needed to update their logo. I needed Adobe Illustrator to do it. Couldn't do it with the Adobe Photoshop. So I subscribed. I'm going to subscribe for like a month or two. I wasn't going to try to do 1 month, but I said I might need it for about at least while I'm working on this project. I signed up and found out after the fact that, well, not after the fact, because it's in there writing somewhere. It's in the fine print somewhere that nobody can read or nobody takes the time to read, that you can't get out of that without some type of penalty. So what I thought was going to be like a 30-minute, a $30 transaction ended up being a 220 something because of the rule that you can't get out of that subscription. Well, anyway, the United States government sued Adobe on Monday and called them of harming consumers by concealing hefty termination fees and subscription plans, making it difficult to cancel. Come on, Adobe, I like you. I like your Photoshop. I've been a Photoshop person since butt was a calf, but you can't be taking my money and other people's money if you're making it difficult for them to unsubscribe or to get out of these subscriptions. Here's something that's really alarming. The first 4 months of 224 saw 5.5 million firearms purchased in the United States. That's a lot of firepower, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? What are these people planning to do? Who in the world? What is driving people to buy almost 6 million guns in 2024? Now, just that many guns in itself, by itself, should be alarming. But this is on top of the millions that are already out there. So that means people are buying more guns on top of the ones they already have, and some who've never owned a firearm are buying firearms. America, America, America. God bless America. Well, this judge down in this judge has blocked some of the student debt relief. As you know, President Biden has been working, he and Kamala Harris have been working, Vice President have been working really hard to relieve many people from student debt. Well, this judge has ruled, this judge in Missouri has put a block on additional debt relief under this act, SAVE. I'll tell you what I think about that. I think this judge is probably one of those folks who went to law school, went to undergrad, and came out of there with $200,000 student loans. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just saying that's kind of the norm. And he watched these people, many folks, have their debt disappear. And he's probably thinking, wait a minute, what about my loan? So he can't do it because he doesn't qualify, probably because of his income. Sounds like a conflict of interest to me. Is there like a hater law? Anyway, let's see what else is going on. Apple and Meta were trying to have a partnership. They broke it off. They say they don't want to move forward with the partnership because Apple doesn't feel that Meta is safe enough. The privacy features weren't strong enough. But I tell you what's interesting about this story, the fact that you have these two big giant companies, Apple, one of the richest companies in the world, Meta, one of the richest people in the world, richest companies. They're talking about partnering. It goes back to that old story about rich people get together to talk about money, how to make more of it. And poor people get together to talk about each other. We got to change the mindset. If Apple and Meta and these different big companies can get together to talk about making this cheddar, why can't we? We can. That's why we have the Marketing Pulpit here, to show you how to do it. Now, this next story is going to lead us into our sermon for today. Found very interesting. the high stress, people who are making the most money seem to be more stressed about money than the folks who are not making money. Let me have a little drink on that. I'll say it again for the people in the back. High earners are more stressed about money than folks who don't make as much money. This is a new survey. According to the data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, high earners were more likely than other income groups to be concerned about making ends meet over the next 6 months, including 30% of the people making $150,000 or more. They're dipping into the retirement savings, and more than twice as many other people having trouble to pay their bills. These are folks that are making $150,000 plus. I mean, in some areas of the country, that's not a lot, but for most people, I mean, the average income in the United States is probably half of that. What is that about? I'm going to tell you what it's about. When I come back from the break, we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about why you should live small, even though you're thinking big. We're going to ask the question, who in the heck are you trying to impress? What in the heck is all this spending about? Hold on a second. We'll be right back in a moment. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and don't you go anywhere because you don't want to miss this next segment. Hey, man, that music had me going. Hey, welcome back. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We're here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls. We're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. To those who are tuning in for the first time, welcome, 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 and come back. You or somebody you know is contemplating starting a business, and you want to do it right. But the good thing about this show is that we take the holistic approach. You can get all the marketing and accounting and sales advice that you want, but if your mind isn't right, it's going to be like pouring water through a sieve. Remember a sieve when you're in the country, pour that cornmeal in there to make that cornbread? And my mom used to use one of those. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. For the folks who've been hanging in there for the past, 10 years? Good gracious, your life. Man, we've been around a while. Wait a minute. No, not 10, 14 years. 2010. Yep, let me get my math right. We've been around for 14 years. Started over at Radio 1 out of Silver Spring, Maryland. Miss Kathy Hughes and company over there, Miss Karen Jackson and Ron Thompson and Alonzo, the engineer. We just have a good time over there. And we had spread out during the pandemic and got on these different social media platforms. We're on X. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on LinkedIn. And I see people tuning in from every platform. Hello. Thank you for joining me this morning. We're talking about the people living in stress, the high earners living in stress. And I guess I can relate. Thank goodness I made a life shift many years ago. Boy, and the burden that was lifted off of me. Because we live in a society that prides itself on material possessions. We've heard the old expression, keeping up with the Joneses. Some call it social proof. Some call it the desire to belong, the herd mentality, or whatever you want to call it. It has driven many people into sometimes an early grave, sometimes into financial ruin, and at the minimum, stress, a stressful life. So I said, maybe we should try to live a little smaller and happier, but still think big. So what I mean by living small, I'm going to put in a simple word phrase that everybody can understand. Living below your means. That means even though you can afford to buy a lot of stuff, you choose to spend your money differently. Now, one of the benefits of living small, several of the benefits, is this thing called financial freedom. By owning fewer possessions and less lavishness, you can be financially free. That means you have this ability to pursue experiences and passions and things that you've always wanted to do because you didn't put all your money in stuff. You decided to live smaller. I'm not even going to talk about the stress. Trying to keep up. Some people, the money, as soon as they get a bigger check, they get a bigger house. They get a bigger check than that, they get another car. They get another big check. Oh, we got to go on more trips now. Let that money rest for a minute. I'm not saying let it rest forever. Let the poor money at least get the ink get dry on the check before you go out and start spending it. That money sitting is like a stress releaser. Just looking over there. You know what I do? I'm not a billionaire, millionaire. Okay, I do okay, but I do some simple things. I have a spreadsheet. I can know my financial net worth at any given moment. Money comes in. I have my money in columns. Stock over here. High interest bearing checking account over, savings account over here. Cash over here. Checks over here. Business income. I keep it all lined up. And the more that's over there, the less stress I feel. Okay? There's something about having that money just sitting there. It's like a stress. It's like a big old fluffy pillow. It lets you sleep at night. I mean, some people literally put their money under the pillow. I don't do that. Another thing that this does by living small, you have the freedom to be you. How many of us out there in this audience, we have to kind of almost have to sell your soul? I know this sounds kind of drastic, but you have to do something and be something you're not to keep the money coming in. And when you move that pressure of having to keep up and buying a big house and a new car every couple of years, you can actually be yourself. You can make an impact in society by helping people and putting some of that money to good use, things that you really care about. Even the environment. I talk about that on this show too. I believe that we have to worry about the planet, be concerned about it. But all this excessive cars and big houses and the garbage that's generated, it's actually hurting our environment as well. Now, of course, when you talk about the benefits of living small, what about the downsides of living too large? Well, of course, main one again is financial strain. Did you really need to get that car when you got it? Yeah, you did. Okay, you signed a big contract. Uncle Sam sent you a big check for that government contract. You just lined up this big client. Just launched a new second location for your business. What's the harm of sitting on some of that money for a minute and reduce some of the financial strain that's been causing your hair to go gray and your blood pressure to go up for most of your life? Recover, heal, get into this mental and health and self-care. The stress, of course, which is, we know the stress. I've talked about stress on this show many times, and I continue to talk about it. It's a killer. It causes inflammation in the body. Anything that you're doing, if you're having health problems right now, they're just going to get worse because of stress, and it's going to create new problems. And stop, once again, the downside is you don't want to keep selling your soul or keep doing things that are anathema to your true inner self. And you're killing the planet too. So why do people do it? Why do people live so large? What is this phenomenon? One of the biggest culprits is this thing called social proof, trying to keep up social status. They're trying to impress people. Nothing worse and nothing sadder to me than somebody going broke, trying to impress broke people. Those folks don't care. They don't care if you gotta lose your house or your car because you're trying to keep up. Kids can't go to school, walking around with all this stress. It's a mindset shift. And there's this consumer. Remember also, you are born into a capitalist society that's built on spending and capitalism. It takes some type of mental shift and training and to break that grip. There's a thing called FOMO, fear of missing out. People don't want to be left behind. They don't want to be the only one that's not doing something. Sometimes you're just hanging with the wrong people. You might need to find a new group of people to hang with who think like you. Now, how did this over living large look? What did it look like? Well, and I'm not knocking anybody if you got it like that, I'm not a hater, okay? I say congratulations. But what I'm trying to do is save you from some unnecessary stress and possible health challenges going down the road when you have a couple of bad months. These oversized homes and expensive cars, it's going to cost you more money. The heat, taxes are higher. Everything costs more. Get you a comfortable home that you can afford and enjoy and make it the most comfortable place that you could be on this planet. When it's not so big, you can spend that money on things that make it comfortable and livable. You can add the necessities and accoutrements that it takes to make that nest a livable place that you can't wait to get home to. But you drive up to these big mansions, half furnished, you're only living in like 2 or 3 of the rooms. Who are you trying to impress? Think big, live small. These lavish lifestyles are putting people in the poorhouse and causing businesses to fail. Designer clothing, expensive restaurants, expensive booze, extravagant vacations. It's ways people are living large when they should be living small. So how do you change this? Okay, I'm trying to give you some examples here on how to move forward. And like I said, this is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm preaching today. Okay, blame my dad. He was a preacher. No, this is me, really. Change your mindset. You are not what you wear. You're not what you eat. You're not where you live. You will ultimately be judged by who you are and how you treat people. This other stuff, I won't put any stock in it. Declutter your mind and your space. Fill that mind with positive things that's going to help you and help society. And you start finding a less of a proclivity to go towards some of these extravagant, lavish undertakings. It's okay to downsize. It's okay. You say, look, I did it. I was high on myself. I made all this money. I wasn't sure what to do with it. It's okay to downsize. You can rent that puppy out, get you a smaller space and start living the life that you want. And start focusing on experiences and activities and relationships. You will have the peace of mind to participate in those things that are important and dear to you once you move away from some of this extravagance. Now, one thing I don't want you to do is to get it twisted here. I'm not saying living large means everything is bad. I'm saying living large does not mean thinking small. Living small does not mean thinking small. I still want you to do something large. Invest large. Yeah, go ahead and get that high interest bearing savings account. Save large. Let that money rest and breathe for a minute. Let it be your cushion at night to eliminate some of this stress and restlessness. If you have a business, advertise large. Make sure you understand your audience, tie it to a purpose, and go ahead and put that money on advertising and marketing and have yourself a successful business. Learn large. Go ahead and get that certification. Learn. Keep improving your knowledge and give large. Nobody's ever gone broke by giving. Well, maybe some, but I don't know of any. I give and I give a lot, and it always comes back. So there, you can still do some things large. In conclusion, don't let others define what success and wealth is for you. Start your own paradigm by living below your means and setting your own parameters of what constitutes a good life. You know what makes you happy. Don't be driven by what others think you should be doing to be happy. Don't go broke trying to impress broke people. Things like financial freedom, freedom from stress, freedom from being bossed by some knucklehead, freedom to help others, freedom to help our planet. These are things that not should be taken lightly. They're things that can make sure that you can have a happier life. And that's my story for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for tuning in today, because I'll tell you one thing, on my last thing on this. You follow this advice, tell you something that's going to happen. It's going to shock you. You're going to see your credit score go up and your blood pressure go down. Watch it. Remember, you heard it here on the Marketing Pulpit by Robert Gatewood. Thank you again for tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We will be back next week with a new show. I'm here every Friday. And as always, as I like to close out each show, also, if you haven't already, go to the Marketing Pulpit Business Directory and join, and let me shout you out on the show. And also, if you have any questions, you can find me and more information by going to marketingpulpit.com. You can find me on gatewoodmarketing.com. I'm on all the platforms at Marketing Pulpit. Just Google me and you'll find me. And if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk, let's get to work.
One cup of greens per day will lower your risk of dying from heart attack or stroke by 30%. Hallelujah. A half a cup of beans every day will drop you down by another 30% because of the fiber and the medicines in the beans will sweep away the cholesterol and the saturated fat. Half a cup of berries per day with all of the antioxidants and flavonoids will drop your risk down. And then finally, a fourth of a cup of nuts and seeds every day will drop your risk down by 33%. You simply eat those foods every single day and take everything else away that's destroying you. And we could eradicate heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. Glory! Hallelujah.
Register today and get ready for your health revolution.